Hello everyone, welcome in Puzzling Perspective by Rzain Society. Today I'm with Maria Maunula, a producer from Supercell. Maria also worked at Do Dreams, Seriously, Nitro Games, and some other gaming company. She is a real inspiration and is sharing about industry trend, community engagement, narrative design, leadership insight, and career advice. I hope you have a good one.
Hello everyone, I'm really excited today. I'm with one of the Puzzle Society newly rebranded Rzain Society core member, Maria Maunula. Welcome Maria, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thanks for having me here today.
I'm super happy to have you. Thank you to be with us. I follow you for several years now, and I'm super impressed with your journey. I think it's really inspiring at several level, and you change a lot actually of experience and project and so on. So you have a 360 overview on the market, and today we are going to speak about what puzzle games can learn from Hayday and other game genres. Exciting! But before that, I want to our audience to get to know a bit more about yourself. So can you introduce yourself?
For sure. So, like Claire said, I'm Maria Maunula from Finland. I've been working in the mobile games industry specifically roughly 6 years, and I have a very lengthy background in sales before that. So, coming from selling porcelain toilet bins to making games now, it's been an interesting ride, and I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change a day.
Nice, I love it, and it's refreshing, to also have your perspective every time I'm following you on LinkedIn. I highly advise everyone to follow you. So, Maria, I wanted to ask you what attracts you to work in free-to-play games, especially mobile games. Like, how did your career evolve?
That's a good question. So, also for the audience to know, I have been in multiple companies. I'm currently at Supercell working with the Hayday team, but I actually started from community management, player support or player care, also a little bit of social media and office management. So, it was partly luck. My good friend knew that I'm mentally a project manager. I just didn't know it myself at that point. So, I was always organizing something, and she helped me to think what kind of skills I would have that I can transfer to games industry. And then I joined her at Nitro Games to start my career. And why specifically mobile games? I have this weird thing that I also like. I play other games, and I worry that if I would also create PC games, I would not enjoy it as a hobby anymore. So I'm a hardcore PC gamer. I love making mobile games, but I cannot play them anymore out of the pure joy. So my mind goes instantly breaking them down, thinking the design and so on. So PC is my leisure, mobile is my work.
I love it. It's like splitting work-life balance. You don't go with both same time, or it can be quite chaotic. Okay, so let's jump into it. You are one of the experts of our industry on free-to-play. So, what are the key trends you observed on the market from the last past year?
So last years I've been heavily working on the match 3 side, and a lot of the interesting findings were actually on how the games are not anymore one category. So back in the days, we were clearly having, okay, this is co-op strategy, this is a swipeable match 3, or this is a merge game. But now they are kind of mixing together. So you will encounter a lot of mini games or even mixing two genres together, which I find interesting. And it does fit the casual audience very well. Other than that, in both good and bad ways, in a way, I would like to say I like how the privacy protection has changed our marketing field. And since mobile is so heavily driven by user acquisition, we luckily shifted away from the fake ads. Thank goodness for that. We need to pay more attention to the audience motivations. So promoting the actual gameplay, actual features. Why would you play this game through the ads to find the right core audience? And that may have affected how we also develop the games, especially new games. So we might do a lot more user research and test the waters with ads first to see what kind of games could work or what kind of concepts could work. So maybe those would be two mega big things.
100% totally aligned, and it's actually a mix of everything right now, and I think that's why like any genre can go with puzzle, which is something I'm quite passionate. Like some sub-genre are the only one growing right now on the market, and actually you are working on Hayday, so it's a really interesting games, like a farming simulation games. And from your perspective, what could Hayday bring to puzzle? What puzzle should bring from Hayday to enhance, for instance, their player engagement?
Oh, that fun. So the funny thing is that at Supercell, I felt like I had to unlearn everything I learned about game making from the previous companies. We do things a bit differently, but it is partly because thanks for our amazing community. So engagement is really, really high for us. So what we maybe can teach to other companies about engagement is that it really needs to be fun. You can monetize whatever you want, but if it's not fun, that monetization effort is worth nothing. But what we could then also take from other games, especially our big, amazing competitors, is how to run the game as a service. So we have a fun, amazing game, but how to make it so fun that you want to come back again and again and actively participate every day, or build that community within. Our community is dear and near, and they are so chill and they love each other, but they long for interaction within each other. And that's kind of not what we can at the moment give as much as we would like to. So definitely learnings from both sides.
100%. I think all what is community organic, and it's actually what we see in apps, which are not games. Like the growth is really coming from everyone looking for keywords and so on, because there is a need, there is an awareness of things, and that's why like more than 60% is at the end of the day organic and not paid UA. So all from your experience, are the social feature integrated in the game? Do you have some example in mind of social feature that you would recommend people to add in their game to keep the community engaged?
A scary thing to say as an ex-community manager, but in-game chats are amazing, also terrifying from a developer point of view. So please don't build it unless you're ready for it. You need a lot of administrator work for it, how the chat is safe and fair for everyone, and you need the community managers to help the communities and so on. Also, I think what may be surprising for people who are not working on match 3 or casual genre, which is heavily targeted for women, is that they are competitive as I'm not going to say the word out loud, but you get my point. So it was a surprise for me as well, how competitive they can be. So giving leaderboards, options to challenge each other or play even directly against each other, especially if you can challenge your friends. That's very popular in some genre games. Not yet in Hayday, but who knows? Who knows?
Hey, never say never, never. I think anything can give good ideas, and I think it's actually quite brilliant. I think, like the community is also looking for some stories at the end of the day. We want to go out of our lives, and it's actually what we saw with movies, right? Like we like movie not because, like it's something that is a several billion market. It's because it makes us dream, and I think like with games, it's really something that is coming as well. So I wanted to have your opinion about the role of narrative and storytelling in games compared to, for instance, only game mechanic games. Like, do you think a game nowadays can work without any storytelling or narrative?
Oh, tough one. A big Pandora's box we are opening here. So personally, I also have some marketing background and I'm interested in marketing side. So for me, storytelling is always a big part of it because we use the storytelling to attract you and make you interested and give you the motivation. If there's zero of that, that can be successful. We have games that are very click, 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 and that's all you do in the game, and why would you need the lore around it? But is that a brand that you can build and expand and scale? At least for me, it is. I don't just want to make a great game. I want to be part of phenomenon that lasts decades and can have cafeterias or amusement parks or even museums around that brand. And that I think really, really needs some narrative design, branding, memorable, maybe even cosplayable characters that players can relate, and it needs to be diverse enough that it is relevant for everyone. So that takes a lot of thinking and actual 8-hour work for someone.
Nice. I mean, I'm totally aligned. And I know, like you are people first on your approach in the game, but you also on your leadership. And it's really something I wanted to touch base on because your work is also working with people. So can you tell us a bit more how you approach stakeholder management and or basically you improve usually process in game development to reach your goal? Because I know you are really human oriented, so tell us more.
Oh, I could talk about this alone for 8 hours, but let me try to squeeze it down into something perhaps for you listeners to act on. So I love to start from the point of curiosity, understanding where everyone comes from and why are we doing things. And I know that's also a bit controversial. I have encountered situations where I come out too strong and I ask, why did we do it this way? And I never mean a bad thing, but I get that it might be taken as a attack or challenging. But when I'm actually able to explain for the team, I'd like to understand this so we can together find solution for X, Y, Z. And this helps for us to, for example, manage your workload and so on. So having something actionable for everyone out of it, it's a trade-off, and always coming from the understanding point, why not? And why is this important? And that's my kind of starting point. And if I see that, it also helps me to be the bridge between different crafts, different expectations, different maybe, I would say, management level. Especially, I'd like to say within the team that I don't want to be responsible for making sure that we do the right things. That is not my role, but my role is to make sure that we do the things right. And whatever is right might vary quite a lot between teams. Also, I'd say we need to agree on it together. So just facilitating simple discussions. What does this mean to us? What do we expect from each other? And actually like dedicating time for those discussions. That comes as a surprise for many seasoned industry, 10 years, 20 years. And when I ask, so what do you mean when you say done? Your ticket is done, your work is done. And they're like, well, what do you mean? Like, of course it means this and this and this. And then they hear what the other people thinks when they say done. And then they hear each other and they're like, okay. So discussion, communication, asking questions. Maybe that's in a nutshell.
And you should definitely come back so we can do a dedicated podcast about it because I think it's really inspiring. And stakeholder management, I think I made several plays. It's always what make a project work or not. So definitely, if we have you on board, I think it can make a success really work really well. I have no doubt about this. So now, you are super successful. Honestly, I think it's the dream of everyone to work at Supercell. You are there. You met some other super stunning places in the gaming, mobile gaming place. So what advice would you give to some young people that wants to start from scratch? My audience personally is in Europe and everything, but also in Africa, and some people don't have all the same means or are just starting in mobile games, like just spiking up and growing. So what are your advice to start from zero, from scratch?
One big thing I want to shake off, and I keep saying this again and again wherever I go, is that games industry is so much more than just programmers and artists. And when I say just, it doesn't mean that they wouldn't be important, but there's so much more behind it. So we need people for legal things, for HR purposes, office management things, and on like purely if you want to be attached to the game making, the user research, the player psychology behind it, level design specifically. There's so many levels and things. that I would probably start looking by what kind of roles there exist. And when you have an idea, what are the options in this industry, then you can start to reflect your skills. So example from my past, when I said it was a little bit of luck play, that my friend knew already we have been doing some projects together, that okay, she's actually a really good project manager. She might not know it herself, but let's talk about it. And she explained to me, for example, what a producer would do. And because I had such a big experience in sales, that's basically understanding the customer need, which is player care, player support. Literally the same thing, different product, different environment, same practicalities. So knowing what the industry needs, knowing what you have to give for the industry, that's a great starting point. And then another big thing is networking. And I realized I keep parroting this and I never explain what I mean with networking. It's just coming up, showing up, and ask questions. I know it's terrible to go for absolute random person in an event and be there very awkwardly talking about the weather. Please don't do that. Please go and ask like, hey, I would like to learn more about your craft. I would like to learn why you love this industry. What is it that you love about your work? People love to share their experiences. Just be brave enough to ask. So show up in events. There's a lot of events online, physical, different countries, different cities, free to attend. Some are, of course, paid, but if you are maybe a student, maybe your school can pay for it. If you are intern or early junior position, maybe your company can provide you tickets for those events. But there's so many free events, you never need to go for the paid ones.
This is gold, Maria. You are a queen. Honestly, it's perfectly said. And please do follow her advice because it's exactly the way you need to do. It's the way I personally started. And I think it's exactly the way to go. Especially because there is a lot of new jobs nowadays, especially with AI and things like this, and jobs that will also, unfortunately, be developed or disappear. So you need to stay up to date. So I think it's really amazing advice that are here. So now we spoke about, how to start. Now let's speak about the future. So looking ahead, what do you see as the next big things, the big innovation for free-to-play games?
This is always tough to kind of predict what future may hold when the future is so crazy even on a daily basis here, but I would assume that we will within a year or two see a new category raising up, similar as merge as a mechanic popped out recently. Then everybody wanted to do merge. So there's always one like hyped up raising up mechanic or game type or genre. And I would also say we will see a lot more transmedia, like big book brands, movies, TV series, even maybe physical toys to coming more and more into games. So that's also something where developers, we need to be careful that we treat the IP with all the respect that they should have. So let's not just slap the brand on top of a game, but build the game to match and feel the IP. So it will be actually good collaboration and something for us to look and play for years.
Nice. So stakeholder management, working with different teams, understanding the need. I think it's going to be even more important. I think you're nailing it. I totally aligned. We are reaching the end of the podcast, and I'm really sad because it was super insightful for me, and I think for all the audience. Maria, where can people find you? And is there anything last insight or thought you want to share?
LinkedIn is probably the best way to reach out to me, and I'm happy to help, for example, reviewing your LinkedIn for optimization if you're applying for a job and you just want to hear what the companies are looking for. On other social medias, my alternative ego is Murderous Maria for my player tag. So I'm not going to kill you, but they might be a little bit, there's weapons and guns and stuff, so don't be surprised.
I mean, if we play COD, I hope you will kill me because
there's a little bit cosplay stuff, so hopefully that makes more sense. And yeah, as a final anecdote, I'm really bad at these, it seems. Just be brave, be curious. This industry needs a lot of new blood. We need diversity. I have a lot of friends who never even thought that they could work in this industry. Heck, I didn't think I could work in this industry. And no, I don't have a proper school education for this role. So you really can become whatever you wish to become if you study hard work, ask the right questions, and get to know the people and the industry. And please come and join and help us make the industry even better.
Oh, I love this. I love this. Maria, it was an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for coming. And I hope we will have you on another podcast. And take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and join us next time for more insight into the world of gaming. Until then, keep playing and stay inspired. Claire from Rzain Society.